Okay, and how about the guitar? Great. So your voices are going to be broadcast all over the world, but we can't see your faces, so don't worry about it. Let's just do a kind of a gathering. Let's just do a kind of a nigun to welcome ourselves. Ya-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da. Let's try that. Ya-da-da-da. I didn't mean to imply that you weren't trying. Ya-da-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da. One more time. Ya-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da-da. Part two. Ya-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da. Again. Ya-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da. And again. Ya-da-da-da-da. 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 Last part. Ya-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da. Okay. I don't know about you online there, but here in the room we're singing pretty well, which means we're going to do it again. Ya-da-da-da-da. 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 I know you know the words. Ya-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da. Second part. Ya-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da. 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 So we're going to do one more time. Those of you online, we invite you to sing. And here we'll just sing really beautifully and listen to one another singing, and we can even close our eyes if we need to. Ya-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da. 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 Ya-da-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da. 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 Ya-da-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da. 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 We're going to go around the circle and sing Shabbat Shalom to everybody. And when it comes to you, all you have to do is say your name. And then all we have to do is repeat it back. It goes like this. Mikey, I'll start with you. Shabbat Shalom to Mikey. Shabbat Shalom to Natalie. Shabbat Shalom to Jen. Shabbat Shalom to... Okay, let's do the way you guys did it. Shabbat Shabbat. You know better. Shabbat Shalom to Zach. Shabbat shalom to Sam. Shabbat shalom to Noel. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to Craig. Shabbat shalom to Josh. Shabbat shalom to Ezra. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to Ben. Shabbat shalom to Melissa. Shabbat shalom to Clifford. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to Kate. Shabbat shalom to Emma. Shabbat shalom, Jill. Jillian. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to David. Shabbat shalom to Jim. Shabbat shalom to Sherry. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Are you ready? Shabbat shalom to Noah. Shabbat shalom to Rachel. Shabbat shalom to Annie. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom to George. Shabbat shalom to Amy. Shabbat shalom to Tom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Well, we've welcomed one another. Now let's welcome the Sabbath angels, the angels of peace. On page 1, if you have you might want to click on in the chat or wherever it is, the service booklet. So we're going to sing, we're going to sing Shalom Aleichem, 4 verses. First verse is welcome, Shalom, hey, I see you. Second verse is Boachem L'Shalom, which means I invite you in. I invite you into my life. Come on in. And the third verse is Barchuni, which means bless me. While you're here, bless me. And then Seitchem L'Shalom, we say, go out into the world and spread the Sabbath peace all over the world. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Take a deep breath. we turn the page, we'll see on the top there the beginning of Psalm 27. We are in the Hebrew month of Elul. Did anybody look at the moon last night? Amazing, right? Was it growing or was it waxing or waning? I believe it's waning. Yes, we're looking at the moon every single night. It's grown to its fullness in this month of Elul, the last month of the Hebrew year. And that means that Rosh Hashanah, the new year, is soon. Close. The moon will disappear. And then when we see it again in the west, the small crescent, the beginning of the moon, it will be the new year. So we're currently in the month before the new year, the month of Elul. And it's a month of preparation and kind of looking forward, and also thinking a little bit about how we want to start over, thinking about themes of repentance and thinking of themes of repair. And so it's a custom in this month to chant or to read every day in Elul from Psalm 27. I have a little bit of a translation there on the top page, but I have a better one in my hand that I'm going to read instead. And then we're going to come to this verse that says, "One thing I ask of you, achat sha'alti me'et Adonai, ota avakesh." I ask this with all my heart. Shivti beveit Adonai, that I may dwell in the house of Adonai, kol yimei chayai, all the days of my life. Lachazot benoam, to look at the beauty, to perceive the beauty, benoam Adonai, the beauty of Adonai, the beauty of the divine, ulevakir behechalo. So we're going to sing that song. We're going to learn it. How many of you know that song, Achat Sha'alti? A couple? Do? Oh, just a couple. Great. So we can teach it. That's great. So this begins Psalm 27, and this is a translation by Reb Zalman Schachter Shlomi. He says, Yah, you are my light, you are my Savior. Whom need I dread? Yah, with you as my strong protector, who can make me panic? When hateful bullies gang up on me, wanting to harass me, to oppress me and terrorize me, they are the ones who stumble and fall. Even if a gang surrounds me, my heart is not weakened. If battle is joined around me, my trust in you is firm. If you guys could move down a little bit, we can make room. Jim, can you move over a little bit and we'll make room for... Yeah. Do we have 3 chairs there? We could put up another chair too. So now we're going to sing those words, which are Achat Sha'alti Me'et Adonai, right? Maybe we'll do it first in English, because I think not everybody knows the Hebrew. It goes like this. One thing I ask of you. I ask it with all of my heart. Try that. One thing I ask of you. I ask it with all of my heart. Second verse. That I may dwell in your house. Let's try that. That I may dwell in your all the days of my life. All the days of my life. From the beginning. One thing I ask of you. I ask it with all of my heart, that I may dwell in your house all the days of my life, beholding the beauty of God. Try that. Beholding the beauty of and to be in God's holy place, and to be in God's holy place. Last 2 lines we repeat. Beholding the beauty of God, and to be in God's holy place. So the ending, and to be in God's holy place. Let's just do it in the English. We won't do it the Hebrew, but let's just sing that one time through or twice. Ready? One thing I ask of you. I ask it with all of my heart, that I may dwell in your house all the days of my life, beholding the beauty of God, and to be in God's holy place, beholding the beauty of God, and to be in God's holy place. Okay, so you all said you wanted to do it, so now let's do it. I just want to sit, it says, Bevet Adonai, Shivti, Lashevet, in the house of God. And you know, the house of God could mean many things. In the context of this psalm, maybe it means the temple, a building in Jerusalem that was called the house of God. But, you know, the angels proclaim every day, holy, holy, holy is the Lord. The whole earth is full of God's glory. So the whole world is really, in a way, the body of God. And I think every human being, also our own bodies, are dwelling places for the divine. We say that we believe that we all have a precious divine soul. And so that soul somehow, even though we can't see it or hear it, it dwells within us. And so this is also a dwelling place for the divine. So what we're going to do now is take a few minutes to get in touch with our body, just the one that we've got, that is the dwelling place of the divine. So now is where I'm going to ask you, I know you knew you came to a contemplative service, right? So we're not going to have any responsive readings, but we are going to spend a little time sitting in the quiet and experiencing the calming of the breath and of the mind. So I'm going to invite everybody, if you can, to sit up a little more elegantly, wherever you are. And if you're at home, you might want to close the door, make sure the dog is not going to come in and distract you or anything else. Here in this beautiful house of God, we don't have too many distractions except the beautiful faces around us. So I invite everyone to just be seated and to notice where your feet are coming into contact with the ground. And just notice that point of contact, that touch. And feel rooted in that place. Feel your feet really contacting the ground. And now in your mind's eye, we're just going to scan a little bit, just sending our attention to the parts of the body, this dwelling place for the divine. Just notice your ankles. Notice your lower legs and how they bend gently at the knee. And send your attention to your upper legs, your thighs. And then notice the place where you are seated, your sits bones. That should be giving you good support where you're seated. And so just scan that bottom part of the body. Let's think of that as our anchor today. That is just going to anchor us, stabilize us. And now I invite you to send your attention up the spine. Allow your upper body to kind of just lengthen just a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. Feel the energy running up the back of the body. Feel the energy running up the front of the body. And right in the center there, a beautiful column. It's a spinal cord, but you could think about it tonight like just a column of light, just shining up through the neck and into the head and right out of the top of your head into the sky. And now starting at the top of your head, send your attention to the top of your head and to your face, to your eyes, to your nose, to your 2 ears, to your mouth. If you're gritting your teeth and wondering how long this will go, you can give it up already and just smile. Back to the neck. And then send your attention across your shoulders, the tops of your shoulders, tops of your back, and rounding at the shoulders, and follow your upper arm to the place where it bends at the elbow. And then the lower arm. And now notice where the hands are. Are they at rest? Are they touching one another? This is your body. Enjoy it. And now I invite you very gently to turn your attention to the breath, to the breathing. Notice as the breath comes in through the nose or through the mouth, how it goes through the throat and starts to fill the chest and goes all the way down into the belly. And notice also when the breath leaves the body, going back the way it came, from the belly, through the chest, and out the nose or the mouth. And just enjoy a couple of deep breaths for the moment. This is your body, and you are in it, and we are in this place, and we are in this moment in the week, and we are in this moment in the month, and we are in this moment in our lives. So behold the beauty of this moment. Enjoy dwelling in this holy place for a little longer. And if your mind starts to wander, no worries. Just go back to counting your breath. Notice how the breath comes in. Notice how the breath goes out. Don't get stressed out. Just say, okay, back to the breath, back to the breath. It's perfectly normal to be distracted, but we just return to the breath. And as you deepen the breath, I invite you, each time the breath comes in, to imagine that it's filling not just the lungs and the chest and opening the heart, but just filling the whole body. The whole body is filled with the Spirit. And notice what a holy place that is. One thing I ask of you, I ask it with all of my heart, that I may dwell in your house all the days of my life, beholding the beauty of God, and to be in that holy place, beholding the beauty of God, and to be in that holy place. Yai dai dai da 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 dai 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 dai, ya da dai 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 da da dai dai dai. Yai dai, ya da dai dai, yai da dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, ya da dai dai dai, yai dai 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 da da dai da da, yai dai 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 da 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 dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai da 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 dai da. So just for fun tonight, if you wish you can open your eyes, but you don't have to. In our song sheet there's another song. It's actually a verse from the Song of Songs, where the beloved, the Song of Songs, for those of you who've studied a little bit, is really some poems between a lover and a beloved who are looking for one another. Sometimes they're together and sometimes they're not. They're yearning for one another. The Hebrew month of Elul is made up of 4 Hebrew letters: Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Lamed. And our rabbis tell us that reminds us of the famous verse from the Song of Songs, Ani lidodi, I am my beloved's, Vidodi li, and beloved is mine. That as we turn towards the new year, we want to turn in love. We could turn in fear. That's okay. There are 2 ways to relate to God. There's awe and love, but in the month of Elul, we want to try to turn in love, and just to open the heart a little more and try to connect a little more. So this is a version of Ani Yeshena. Let's say the words in the Hebrew. Ani Yeshena, V'libi er. V'libi er. It's on page 2 if you're not with us. Kol dodi dofek, pitchi li. The voice of my beloved is knocking. Pitchi li, open up to me, open up to me. So let's just sing it. It goes like this. Ani yeshena v'libi er. Try that. Ani yeshena v'libi er. Kol dodi dofek pitchi li. Kol dodi dofek pitchi li. Ani yeshena v'libi er. Ani yeshena v'libi er. Kol dodi dofek pitchi li. Kol dodi dofek pitchi. So let's try it. Ani yeshena v'libi er. Kol dodi dofek pitchi li. Ani ישנה וליבי ער, וליבי ער, כל דודי דופק פתחי לי. אני ישנה וליבי ער, וליבי ער, כל דודי דופק פתחי לי. אני ישנה וליבי ער, וליבי ער, כל דודי דופק פי. I think we could do this in English. I am asleep, yet my heart's awake, my heart's awake, my beloved knocking open to me. I am asleep, yet my heart's awake, my heart's awake, my beloved knocking open to me. So I want you to take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe as you do so, you can close your eyes and try to picture your heart as you're breathing. Every breath in, you kind of feel it. The air surrounds it, goes by it, just feel it. And allow every breath to kind of soften it just a little bit. Sometimes we forget that we even have a heart. Let it soften. And imagine that the beloved is knocking at the door and your heart is making a little room for something beloved, for a little love to come into your life. For a little God to come into your life, for a little repair, for a little compassion. Ani yeshena v'libi er, v'libi er, kol dodi dofek pitchi li. Ani yeshena v'libi er, v'libi er, kol dodi dofek pitchi li. Let's do it on La. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da da da. Yai da da da. Take another breath. So I thought we'd light our Shabbat candles tonight. We have already, I think, welcomed the extra Shabbat soul into the room and into our life, the Neshama Yetera. Are you able to get up and, after all that good breathing, and light our candles? So Sherry's going to light our Shabbat candles. And then I invite us to sing. We'll go right into Lachadodi, which is on page 3. And we'll sing Lachadodi to this very, very elegant, I kind of think of it like a march tune, as if we have gone out into the fields and prepared ourselves, and we're just expecting to escort the Sabbath into our lives and into this room. Okay, here's how the chorus goes. Lecha dodi likrat gala pnei Shabbat dekabla o lecha dodi likrat gala pnei Shabbat nekabla Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad Ushemo echad Leshem ultiferer ve'letchila O lecha dodi ligrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekah O lecha dodi ligrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekah Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila O lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla O lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla Now, usually we would rise for this verse, but I'm going to suggest that we've already made a little place for the beloved in the heart. So let's just, if you wish to rise, you can. But if you want to just go inward instead. Bo'i b'shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha uv'tohola. Toch emunei am segula boi chala o lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabla o lecha Pnei Shabbat nekabla Pnei Shabbat nekabla Take a deep breath. So let's turn the page. We're going to do the Shema Yisrael in a little bit. We're going to kind of come out of our next sit into the Shema. I'm going to read a reading first that we have that comes from Rabbi Kalonymus Shapira. And then we're going to sit a little bit and experience what he asks us to do. And then we'll come out of it into the Shema Yisrael. So Rabbi Kalonymus Shapira was a Hasidic Rebbe. He's called the Warsaw Ghetto Rabbi. He, with his students, found himself in the Warsaw Ghetto, and even in the ghetto, we have his writings to his disciples and to his students, trying to encourage them as times got worse and worse and worse. What's interesting about him was that he was not just a Hasidic Rebbe. There were many, many Hasidic Rebbes, but he was one that tried to create a conscious community of people who would do kind of what we're doing now, spend a little time in quiet and mindfulness and observing the inner life in a kind of a deliberate way and together as a group of people. And so this is what he wrote. I thought I would share it tonight. He says, human beings have a multitude of feelings, and they move within us like thin and trickling streams. When we open them and draw them to capacity, they flow like a mighty river whose waters never cease. But if we fail to widen them, they pass as if they never existed. There are times when a person feels, for example, vaguely ill at ease. He's not sure what's troubling him. Should he eat something, or rest, or have a drink? But then the feeling might be transformed into something else, when in fact it was just a tentative probing of the soul. The soul was trying to find expression in the world. And the same is true for sensations of joy, and so on. These subtle sensations are not garbed in any physical attire, so they sometimes are difficult to identify. So we therefore adjure you, which I think means we invite you, encourage you, exhort you, tell you to do it, how to notice and observe. When a person notices something, when they sense something, she must pay attention. Examine the sensation and the situation to probe the content of the message. So what he's suggesting is that, what I love about this image, he suggests that, the soul is speaking to us. But it doesn't really speak with words. It sometimes speaks with a feeling. Might be comfort, might be discomfort. Sense that something, might need to change or move or adjust. Or even just a sense that, you're getting too stressed, something is bothering you. Maybe stop and think about it a little bit. And that all these little rustlings of whatever are the soul trying to speak to us, okay? And I love the comparison of like a river, that if we can kind of give it a chance, the soul speaks. It just doesn't speak with words, right? And I always, this is my thing, but I always believe that, like, just as we were sitting here tonight and singing so beautifully, I think something happens when we experience music in that way, when we sing that way, or even when we go to like a symphony or a great concert, But it's confusing because, you read a book and you say, yeah, I read that book. It was about this, it was about that. This was the protagonist, this was a great line, and this is how it ended. But when you go to a symphony or a great concert, is it really true that nothing happened? Something happened. We went through something, right? We just don't have the words for it because what we went through doesn't have words like that. And it would be dumb to even try to put the words on it, right? Because who needs the words? You had the experience. So I think it's the same thing. I think that's what he means when he says the soul speaks, but because it's not garbed in anything physical, we don't recognize it sometimes. And maybe we don't even need to put words on it. You don't have to say, oh, I'm feeling anxious, oh, I'm feeling whatever. Maybe it's just enough to notice that the soul is speaking, that we are experiencing something. It could be a discomfort in the body, could be a comfort in the body, could be an expansiveness in the body. It could be just a little bit of whatever, something wobbly going on. And so I want us to do that now. I want us to take a few moments to go back into the silence and to just go with this image. Imagine that if the soul could speak, it would be speaking, and it is speaking through our body, through our experiences, our feelings. It just doesn't have words. That doesn't mean we can't listen to it and experience it and feel good about it. So can we try to do that for a few minutes? I'll invite us to go back to assume the position, as they say in the cop shows. Assume the position, put your feet on the ground, put your tuchus on the chair, sit up a little more, and we'll just take a few moments to go back to the breathing. Notice the body, put the body in the position that we've learned tonight, just a very elegant sitting up and, just calm. And focus first on the breath, and then just experience the soul speaking. Experience the soul speaking at this moment to you. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. So I want to bring a text tonight for us to study, and then, of course, to sit with it a little bit. The text is on page 5. And since we are in the couple weeks before Rosh Hashanah, it's from Psalm 47. And it's in the middle there. It says, Allah Elohim betru'ah. Elohim goes up in shouting. Adonai bekol shofar. And Adonai in the voice of the shofar. Now I translated it as shouting, but those of you can see that the word there is teruah. Does that ring a bell for anybody? Can anybody make that sound? Right? There are 3 sounds to the shofar, right? Tekiah, Shvarim, Teruah. Right. So, but the word truah, it's not a bad translation, shouting. It's called a truah because it sounds like, the sound itself is very, very, it's like a shout. It's a wake up. It's joy. It could also be joyful. I was at a Shabbat with my son David in Cleveland, and by very good fortune, the synagogue close to where he lives had kind of a special service, a little like this, and they had a big band. I'm just one guy, but they had a big band, and in it there was an 8-year-old with a trumpet, and his role was whenever he got really excited, he just started to play on the trumpet. He just, whenever he wasn't choreographed, he didn't have a part. His job was when he felt the music, he started playing. It was great. Anyway, so the rabbis are going to, of course, look at this a little more carefully. And before we go into the teaching, you need to know that there are 2 names for God in this psalm. One is Elohim, right? And one is the 4-letter name, Yud He Vav He, which we just pronounce as Adonai, right? Now, Elohim actually literally means a judge. In the book of Exodus, it says, if you have an issue, and you must take it to the Elohim. You bring it to the judges. Literally, it means a judge. Adonai doesn't mean anything. Adonai means my Lord, which is what we say instead of pronouncing the 4-letter name. But those of you remember that when we bring out the Torah on the holiday, we chant these verses that are below you in that paragraph. We sing Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Chesed v'Yemet. When Moses is in the cleft of the rock and God says, I'm going to pass by, can't see my face, but see my back. Because Moses says, show me who you are. Let me see your glory. And of course, you can't see God's glory because God ain't got no body. So can't see it. But God's qualities are El Rachum. Rachum means merciful. Chanun is gracious. Erech Apayim is long suffering, forbearing. Just so you know, this is an af, your nose. And these are your apayim. And if you are, the word for anger is short nostriled. And the word for patient is long nostriled. Just like you all were a few moments ago. Right? So actually the Hebrew word for long suffering, forbearance, patient is erech apayim, long-nosed. That's not a bad stereotype, just saying. But also forbearing. And then Rav Chesed, full of Chesed. Rav means a lot. Ve'emet, and truth, right? So sometimes the rabbis, when they interpret Torah, when they see the word Elohim, they imagine that this is maybe God's aspect of judgment and justice. And when they see the word Adonai, Yud He Vav He, they imagine this is God's compassion, right? The left and right hands of God, so to speak, right? So that's the background, and here's the teaching. Rabbi Yehuda, son of Rabbi Nachman, explained the verse, Elohim ascends in truah, shouting, and Yahweh, or Yud He Vav He, or Adonai, or Yah, in the sound of the shofar. often the Holy One of Blessing is seated on the throne of judgment. We know this because the verse tells us, Elohim, divine judgment, ascends in Tru'ah. But when the Jewish people take up their shofars and sound them, God rises, goes up, Oleh, from the throne of judgment and sits instead on the throne of mercy. As it says, God becomes Yahweh, Yud-He-Vah-He, Adonai, Yah, with the sound of the shofar. So then God is filled with compassion and changes the way that the children of Israel are considered from the aspect of judgment to the aspect of rachamim, compassion. Meaning that God has the ability to look at us in different ways. One is through the aspect of judgment, and one is through the aspect of compassion. And that's what it means to say the throne, right? The throne of judgment or the throne of compassion. That's where God is seated kind of at the moment. And, we're approaching Rosh Hashanah, and actually, what is one of the names for Rosh Hashanah? Yom HaDin. Yom HaDin, right? It's actually called. One of the three names for Rosh Hashanah is Yom HaDin, the Day of Judgment, right? And we have all this, we have this metaphor, this imagery of how, right? You can fill in the blanks for me, that God opens the books and takes all of our deeds and puts them on the scales of Din, the scales of judgment, and judges us, and our destiny is written for the year. We have a lot of thinking about Din. So often when we think about, Yom HaDin, about it coming up, we can easily get in touch with the sound of that shofar as being, expressing the sound of Din, of judgment. Tom, wake up already. Where have you been? What are you doing with your life? Look at how little you've accomplished, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All those things that you said last year, you didn't do that, It's very, very easy to get into that place of Din, of judgment, with ourselves. And these voices of judgment that come very easily about judging ourselves just so happen to make us a little more judgmental of others as well. Just works that way. I don't want to say we don't need judgment. We all need critical thinking, and we don't want to dismiss that, and it has a role to play. And in some ways, we're grateful to have it. We need to have that critical voice inside in order to be fully human and in order to fulfill our obligations as human beings. But that's just the starting point. Right? God sits on the throne of Din. But then God is able to get up and move to a different place, to a voice of compassion, to a place of compassion. And I think that's what the practice that's suggested by this text, and here I'm going to share some words of my teacher, Mark Margolius, is that we try to find a way not to we want to ask if that judging voice inside of us is a little bit too harsh or a little bit too fixed. And maybe what we could try to do is just do a little bit of practice, just a little bit here tonight, and see if we can get in touch a little bit with the voice of judgment. I know that's not going to be hard for you all. And then let's see if we can convert it a little bit, shift it over just a little bit to the voice of compassion. So, can we do that? Let's just go back to our sitting place. And please, don't go to anything big here. This is just a small little exercise. We are trying to move the needle a teeny, teeny bit, really. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Just an exercise, okay? So go ahead and take your seats and see if you can get in touch with your body again and center in the breathing, and then I'll just take us on a little guided meditation and see what we can do here. So, if you will, See now that you're breathing and you're settled, if you can get in touch with a little bit of that voice of judgment inside of you. It could be any number of things. Just think of maybe an incident even from the past week. You don't need anything very dramatic. Just maybe remembering something that you forgot to do. Maybe something that somebody's waiting for you and you didn't do it. Maybe it's something that you said kind of not in the way you wanted it to come out. Maybe it's something that you thought that you had about yourself or about another person. Could just be a thought. You didn't even have to say it. Maybe it was something that you did, your behavior, when even if someone was unkind to you or a strange situation, something about your behavior, some disappointment that you have in yourself or in someone else, you know. Maybe you're even judging this practice, saying, why do I have to do this stupid thing right now? Just get in touch with that voice of criticism and judgment. Just take a second to think about it. So now if you can just think about those thoughts of the inner judge, and again, without judging it, right? Just notice the severity, the nature of your inner judge in this particular situation that you're thinking about. Just think about it. Just notice it. You don't have to judge it. See if that voice of deen, that voice of judgment, is it being kind to yourself or to others? Is it an even-handed criticism of another person or of yourself? Or is it giving you the benefit of the doubt, or is it a little harsh? Maybe ask the question, is this judge, this judging voice, is it really looking out for our best interests and the best interests of others? Now, just as an experiment, I want to invite you to kind of think a little bit about the sound of the shofar. Maybe not the true ah, right? But maybe that tekiah, that long, long blast. And to see if you can attune yourself to the quality of that long shofar blast or sound. And imagine that sound and experience it even right now as just a gentle reminder when that judge is getting a little bit too punitive, a little too blaming. Imagine that sound entering your body in a gentle way, in a soft way, to soften the voice within yourself. And what if that sound could kind of envelop your heart and envelop your mind and kind of have it be a sound of compassion and offer yourself some compassion? What would it be like if that very same place where you had that voice of judgment could be surrounded by that gentle voice of the shofar and turned into a place of compassion? Maybe right now, just try to do that with that voice. Imagine being a little more compassionate towards yourself. Or if this concerns another person, being a little more compassionate to the other person. And if it helps, and you want to experience this physically, go ahead and take your hand and bring it to your heart. Just put your hand on your heart. And feel your heart beating under that hand. Feel the warmth of it. Feel the security of it. Feel it like a source of rachamim, softening. And if you're still in that place, I invite you, as you change your seat from the seat of judgment to the seat of compassion, if you're so inclined, to just turn the corners of your mouth up in a little smile. Sometimes it's a lot easier to get to compassion if we got our mouth in that position. It's a little bit harder to be urgently judgmental when you have a little smile on your face. And it kind of helps to soften everything. And just be in that place for a few moments. And so I invite you now to receive 3 beautiful deep breaths into the belly. And we can just close the session of that inner court. And go ahead and open your eyes. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. And it flows like a river, it flows like a river, and it flows like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. And it flows like a fountain, it flows like a fountain, and it flows like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. And it flows like an ocean, it flows like an ocean, and it flows like an ocean. Let's try and do the Hebrew. Sim shalom tova tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Sim shalom tova tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. And it flows like an ocean, it flows like an ocean, and it flows like an ocean in my soul. Take a deep breath. Turn the page. We're almost done. I wanted to offer a prayer of healing in case anybody here is, I'm thinking of a few people myself who I'm praying for healing. So we're on page 6, and the words are Elna, Rafa, Nala, please God heal her. Elna, Rafa, Nalo, please God heal him. Elna, Rafa, Lanu, please God heal us. If anybody wants to mention the name of a person, you can do so. Denise Lowett, Ruth Shoulder. So we sing Elna Rifana La. I know it's a little low, but you can do it. Elna Rifana La, 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 Elna Rifana La. Second verse. Elna Rifana Nu, Elna Rifana Lo, 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 Elna Rifana. God heal us. Elna Rifala Nu, 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 Elna Rifala Nu. Top of page 7. The last words in our Leinu. V'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim V'hashevota Hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. So we want to offer an opportunity for anybody who's saying Kaddish tonight to do so. I want to read the list of those in our congregation for whom we are marking Yahrzeit this week. Nava Hames Gary, Michael Alexander, Adolf Cabot, Dottie Jean Chenman, Philip Dobrin, Herbert Epstein, Marion Gross, Roy Horowitz, Minette Klosko, Edward Kravitz, Samuel Linden, Seymour Mayer, Samuel Newman, Marion Nivert, Gerald Norton, Rose Solaris, Bruce Teplitsky, Albert Waldman, Rebecca Goldstein, Louis Rosenberg, and we're still observing Shiva or Shloshim for Sandra Ludwig, the aunt of Ashira Butler Green. Is anybody saying Kaddish tonight or wishes to say Kaddish with the mourners? If so, you may rise at this moment. And the Kaddish is on page 7. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Bialma divrach irute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitale, v'yitala, shemei kudusha, b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata, v'shirata, tu shbachata, v'nechemata, da'amiran, v'yalma, v'imru, Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. We ask that the source of peace send peace to everyone. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for opening your hearts and your voices and your souls like a river. We're going to go into the next room in just a few moments. I don't think anything's been put out, but if we all kind of go over towards the kitchen. Is something put out? Did anybody put anything out? I saw there's a challah in the kitchen. Let's all go all the way over to the other side. We'll pull out some wine. We'll pull out some bread. Introduce yourself to somebody who you don't know, and welcome the Sabbath all together. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we have a bar mitzvah service in the main sanctuary of Emmett Malcolm, and traditional egalitarian service right here in this. Are there any other announcements? Sure. Let's talk about Mitzvah Day on Sunday.
There are some spaces still, and I think that if you have a project that interests you, you can look online to see what the sign-up is, or you can show up at MACA at 9:30 and find an opening.
Try to assign you to someplace.
So like I'm doing Alyssa House, which is a really nice place for families whose children are undergoing care, and we have space for some yard work and gardening. So.
And I'm going to AIM to help deliver packages of necessary items to seniors, and I know we have a couple extra spots there as well.
And there are people going to Habitat. Yeah. Oh, okay. Not going to Habitat. You're going. Where are you going to?
Habitat.
You're going to Habitat.
Ezra's going to.
I'm leading a group to Albemarle Rehab. We're taking some goodie bags for the residents there. You're welcome to come with me, but I am taking the entire 8th grade class.
So go at your peril. I mean, at your discretion. Oh, great! For their food, there is some space there. That's for their food kitchen. They serve a meal every Thursday, I believe, and that's
We're sorting at the SPCA, and we wanted some spots.
okay. SPCA, right? So a lot of interesting places, and like we said, even if you can sign up, it'd be great. But just show up, and we'll make it work. Okay,
And
great.
also,
Yes.
we have a need for the people who are in the Secure Seniors Program for the Alliance for Interfaith Ministries. They're asking for towels. It's their desperate need. So towels, you can just bring them here. You can bring them with you to MACA. The towels can be lightly used, and they also really need washcloths, and those need to be new. So please, please, please stop by Target, stop by Dollar Store, and bring them in.
You mean like bath towels?
Yeah.
I am so grateful for the opportunity to bring you some towels. I don't have any more room. I've been looking for a place to bring them, so I'm happy. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, Cliff. Emmett Malcolm. Do you know Lena? You guys know Sarah Lansman from the Chabura? So it's her grandson. It's Lena and Peter's boy. Yeah. What's that? And it'll be live streamed too. That's at 10 o'clock. It'll be in the main sanctuary. We love being in the main sanctuary, but we also like being here. And this is our first night with a live stream from this room. So you don't have to have that infernal computer in front of me anymore. And in theory, you could hear me. Could they hear the guitar? And sound was good? This is Andrew, by the way. Andrew, thank you for being our tech person often. So we'll just conclude with a song. Ya-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da, 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 ya-da-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da-da, Yada rai 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 da rai. Yada rai 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 da rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada da da rai rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada da da rai rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada rai 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 da rai. Yada rai 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 da rai. Yada rai 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 da rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada rai 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 da rai. Yada rai rai rai. Yada rai rai rai. Shabbat shalom.